Hi, grade 9s. Now we're into part B, which is the new lesson for week 4, day 2. We're going to look at how we can combine distributing with collecting like terms that you guys did yesterday. So the first question, we have x plus 3 plus 3x plus 5 in brackets. Now, there's no numbers out front here to distribute into the brackets, but what do we always know that it is if there's not a number? Just like in the last examples, I'm going to slide this down and show you guys that we just did. Remember how there was no number in front of this x in the bracket and we said that it was a 1? It's the same idea. We're going to put a 1 as our coefficient in front of both of those brackets. So whenever you don't have a number in front of the bracket, you can put a 1. Now I'm going to distribute into these brackets and then we'll collect like terms. So I'm going to multiply 1 into the first bracket where there's an x plus 3. So 1 times 1x is just 1x. And 1 times positive 3 is positive 3. And hopefully you guys maybe know or remember from elementary school, if you multiply anything by 1, it doesn't change. It's always just itself. And that's going to be the case in the second bracket here too. 1 times 3x. Both of those are positive, so I get positive 3x. And 1 times positive 5, positive 1, positive 5 is plus 5. Now in the day 1 lesson, you guys looked at how to collect like terms. So for like terms, remember we want to add together the terms with a variable, or our x, and the terms with a number. So I see two terms here with a variable. I see a 1x term and a 3x. Now notice how I'm circling. When I circle the 3x, I'm circling the positive sign there because it's plus 3x. That's really important to keep your signs straight. So I have 1x plus 3x gives me 4x's. And then I'm going to look at the just number terms. So I have a plus 3 and a plus 5. So if I have a positive 3 and I add 5 more, I've got plus 8. Okay, so pretty straightforward. It's just the one extra step of distributing before you do your like terms like you did yesterday. The next one, now I have a 2 in front of a bracket. I have 2 times 5x plus 1. So I'm going to distribute the 2 into that first bracket. So 2 times 5x, positive and positive, so my answer is positive. 2 times 5 is 10, and it has an x. Then 2 times positive 1, positive and positive makes a positive. 2 times 1 is 2, and there's no x's with those, so it's just the number. Here I have plus, but no number in front, so I'm going to fill in a little 1 there. And then I'm going to distribute the 1 into the brackets. 1 times 1x is plus 1x. And positive 1 times negative 4, positive and negative make a negative, and 1 times 4 is 4. Now I'm going to look at my like terms. I'm going to look for my x terms first. I have a 10x here, and then I have plus 1x. So if you have 10 x's plus 1 more x, we have 11 x's. So I'm going to write down 11x as my first term. Then I look at the number parts, plus 2 and a minus 4. Careful with those signs because that 4 is negative. So I'm going to have 2 minus 4. 2 take away 4, and remember using your calculators if you're struggling with the integer stuff. 2 take away 4 is negative 2. So my answer for this one is 11x minus 2. Okay, slide this over a bit. And for C, now we have a number in front of both brackets. So the first bracket is going to be multiplied by 3. So I'm going to distribute that 3 into my first bracket. 3 times 3x 3 times 3 is 9, and it has an x because my term has an x. Positive 3, positive 5. Positive and positive make a positive answer. 3 times 5 is 15. Then I do the same thing. Remember, you're only multiplying the number right in front into that bracket. The 4 goes into the second bracket. So I'm distributing the 4 into x minus 2. 4 times, remember, that's like a 1x. Positive 4, positive 1 multiplies to 4, and it has an x. And then 4 times negative 2. So positive times a negative is a negative. 4 times 2 is 8. Now we're going to look at our like terms. So we have 9x and plus 4x. So those are my x terms. I like to color code these if I'm looking for them. So I have 9x here plus 4x. That gives me 13 x's. Then looking at my number parts, I have plus 15 and then minus 8. Remember the number just, or the sign just to the left of your number, that goes with the number following it. So that negative goes with the 8. Sometimes people mix it up and put it with the wrong thing. So 15 minus 8 is a positive 7. So I'll put plus 7. Okay, 2 more examples. Here, again, remember, if you don't have a number in front, you always can put a 1. So I have 1 times 3x minus 2 plus 5 times 2x minus 1. So here I'm going to distribute the 1. 1 times 3x is 3x. 1 times negative 2, remember positive and negative make a negative, 2. Now I'll distribute the 5 into the second bracket. 5 times 2x and 5 times minus 1. If I multiply the 5 times the 2x, I get 10x. So it's positive, positive makes a positive. 5 times 2 is 10, and it has an x. Last term, 5 times negative 1, positive and negative makes a negative. 5 times 1 is 5. Again, I always want to check for my like terms. So I look for the variable terms, so terms with an x. I have 3x here and 10x here. So when I add those together, 3x plus 10x, I get 13 x's. With the number parts, again, watching for your signs. Here I've got some negatives. Negative 2 minus 5. So on your calculator, if you are not super confident with negatives, please check it on your calculator. Negative 2 take away 5 more is negative 7. So that's my answer, 13x minus 7. The last one. Here I have 2 times negative x minus 1. So I'm distributing in a 2 into the bracket. 2 times, this is like negative 1x. So positive, negative makes a negative 2x. That's the first time we've seen a negative there, but it can happen. And 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Now distributing the 5 into this bracket. 5 times 3x, 5 and 3 are both positive, so it's positive 15x. And positive 5, negative 4 is negative 20. Now again, we're going to look at the variable terms. And now I've got a negative for my first variable term, but that's okay. Oops, sorry, scoop that positive sign in with the 15. So for my x's, I have negative 2x's here and plus 15. So negative 2 plus 15 is 13x. And now looking at the number parts, I have negative 2 minus 20 more. So that's negative 2, if you think about on a number line, negative 2 and minus 20 more. It's going more into the negative, so we've got negative 22. Okay, the last thing is a couple word problems that I want you guys to take a look at.